Where's your dongle?
As time is running out, we'll start our program without any delay. And as written in the program sheet, I am the moderator of this function. My name is Professor Lorin Pioa, Dean School of Social Sciences. And to begin with, I, as the moderator of this function, welcomes the delegates of the Republic of Myanmar, and I will speak so many words. And to begin with, I would like to request Sri Iqbal Ahmed, a research officer, National Memorial Museum and Library, New Delhi, to give introduction of our delegates. Thank you.
Good evening all. It gives me immense pleasure to host all of the University. I am very grateful to Vice Chancellor who has agreed to welcome the delegates and hosting the interaction program on a very short notice. So I'm not wasting time. Let me start. Mr. Ang Lin Dave, Lieutenant General, who is the leader. Then Mr. So Nang Pu, Major General. Then Mr. Than Tut Thi, Major General. Then Mr. Shuin Mong Chi, Colonel. Then Mr. On Phen Tin, Colonel. Then Chao So Wu, Colonel. Then Chao Lin Mong, Colonel. Then Han So, Lieutenant Colonel. Then Xuan Zhao, Lieutenant Colonel. And finally, Thad Zin Ong, Captain. So these are the 10-member delegates. They are there with you. General is here. So thank you all. Looking forward to get interaction.
We'll quickly go according to our program. Now, as I call upon the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor T.R.S. Simasivarao, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mizoram University, to propose welcome address. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Respected guests on the dais, the leader of the team, Lieutenant General Ang Lin Dave, and other members and officials from Delhi, and my faculty friends and colleagues, my Vice Chancellor and Registrar. It's a great pleasure for me to invite all of you to this beautiful campus. In fact, actually, I was traveling along with all the team. I'm also just coming from in the same flight today. I've been to Malaysia for 1 week and I traveled just now. And along with you, I'm there in the first seat. Second seat, you are sitting back actually. And
can we just change the format a little bit so that we can have a interaction in a manner? The speech of the team start with a line and it's interpreted so that it becomes easier for the discussion.
so actually, I'm not talking anything here. I just wanted to invite all of you as a Vice Chancellor. I'm not going to give you this speech. I just mentioned that I'm traveling along with you in the team. I just warmly welcome you and to start the program. They called me. I'm just going to.
You can use this one.
Okay, I leave the program to interpreter.
thank you very much. Express my thanks to our Vice Chancellor for posing express his welcome and grace. And now we'll start our academic interaction, something like. And I'll first call upon Professor J.K. Patnaik, Department of Political Science, Arizona University, to deliver a speech on democracy and federalism.
Respected Vice Chancellor, honorable guests from Myanmar, my dear colleagues and friends. Good evening to all of you. I've been given the responsibility of introducing the theme on democracy and federalism. As a student of political science, we generally try to understand the basic concept of democracy and federalism to get a perspective about the general discourse that is relevant for the developing countries. Because the notion of democracy is not new. The discourse of democracy in the 21st century has become more animated due to the increasing importance given to the developing societies. The shift of the focus from the Western democracies to the newly independent societies following the decolonization has been a matter of quite interest to the academics and scholars of the third world countries.
Guruji, Professor Pyochinaaro, who actually democracy and federalism political science, politics, political science, the 21st century, democracy shift
Although the origin of democracy dates back to the Greek civilization, and the ancient Indian civilization as well. The democracy that we mean today is different in its meaning and connotation.
Democracy Greek civilization recent democracy
Political philosophers like Plato and Aristotle did speak about the rights of individuals and the role of the state in protecting the rights of the individuals. The Indian civilization has also its rich tradition of democracy in its self-sustained, self-sufficient village republic system.
Indian democracy self-sustained,
self-sustained and self-sufficient village republics.
Democracy.
But if you trace the history of the modern democracy, we can look into the Magna Carta of 1215, the Great Charter. Magna Carta, 1215, that happened in the United Kingdom. It was, at that time, it was not United Kingdom, it was England. In England, Magna Carta 1215, the first charter of rights of the citizens, where the powers of the king was limited. The most epoch-making thing that happened in England was the Glorious Revolution of 1688. Glorious Revolution, just Glorious Revolution. Yes, it was a glorious revolution because not a single blood was shed in banishing the king of England, who moved to France. 1688. 88. Still more interesting for us is the document, the Bill of Rights, which was passed in 1689 following the revolution, the Glorious Revolution. Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is the Charter of Rights which guarantees freedom and liberty to the individuals. And this has been replicated all across the world. It's not that we adopted that as such, but the spirit of Bill of Rights gets enshrined in almost all democratic constitutions of the world. Actually, democracy is the exercise of power by the people to select or to elect their representatives to the government. Before that, let me give a brief account of the philosophical basis. Only 3 sentences I will speak. Actually, there are numerous philosophers who have interpreted and also came out with their own ideas of democracy. I spoke about Plato and Aristotle, but they were not the directly contributors to the idea of democracy per se. But people like, the philosophers like Hobbes, Locke and Rousseau. Hobbes, Locke and Rousseau did seminal contribution to the philosophical understanding of democracy. Hobbes, Locke and Rousseau. In fact, Aristotle argued democracy is a perverted form of government in nomenclature. But he spoke about the ideal form of the reverse of this democracy is polity, which we find today. So the word democracy, according to Aristotle, was a negative term. But he spoke about polity, which we today mean democracy. Actually, Hobbes spoke about the individual rights to be protected by the rulers, whereas Locke talked about the right to property and right to life, and Rousseau was one of the proponents of popular sovereignty. And according to that, Rousseau was one of the prime movers of the French Revolution. We can give credit to Rousseau for being the proponent of French Revolution.
Hobbes philosopher individually rights
Locke, right to life, right to property, and right to life.
Right to property, right to life.
Right. 19th century witnessed colonialism, and the expansion of democracy was limited to the Western world only. But in came 20th century, where the process of decolonization began with India taking up the mantle of leadership of the decolonized world. The 19th century witnessed colonialism, but in came 20th century, where the process of decolonization was undertaken and India took up the mantle of leadership of the decolonized world.
colonialism को फिर कहीं को चौदह किलो सात किलो leadership पे आवाज़
Interestingly, India inherited the British system of parliamentary democracy after it got independence. But contrast this, that we did adopt federalism, unlike the British Congress. So Indian democracy is a mixture of the American and the British system of democracy. But over the years, the parliamentary system has developed into a different kind of system in the sense that it has developed as a prime ministerial system. This is not my interpretation. This is the interpretation of a British thinker who talked about the British system. His name is R.H.S. Crossman. H.S. Crossman.
The prime minister something happened to our history and again today how we made British RHS
Crossman. The framework of democracy that we have in place in the case of India is consisting of the following. We have fundamental rights. We have the directive principles of state policy, independence of judiciary, rule of law, minority rights, and autonomy of the states.
Directive principles of the states
Policy.
directive Buwada directive Buwada. Very normal. Judiciary that quick judiciary divide. Minority rights, minorities
Okay. Here I want to just underscore the importance of federalism in facilitating democracy in the context of India. Simplistically speaking, democracy is a device to distribute and devolve political power, not only political power, political, economic and financial power to the federating units.
Democracy
in the Indian Constitution, we have a 7th schedule which contains 3 lists. First is the union list, which contains 97 items. The state, the state list contains 66 items. And the concurrent list contains 47 items. Here I want to emphasize that the federalism system that we have, the federal system that we have in India, is a bit different from the American system. In the case of the USA, the residuary power rests with the states, the federating units.
So, Deputy General, would like to intervene.
Yes.
If you want a question.
Sure. Sure.
Now, they are in another transitional period of the federalism and democracy system. In this time, we face so many challenges. So we have so many different situations because of their belief in political and cultures and other social belief. Now we are learning the federal system of the so many countries to control to make a better constitution of our country as the federal system. So we have already learned a lot about the man country constitution. The professor from the Nehru Memorial Museum, they came to the Myanmar and they conducted a lecture about the democracy of federalism.
They've taken a lot of classes and they've explained a lot about the federalism and the Indian system of democracy to the general education.
Very enough. Very enough.
So our athletic organization and our system are similar with the Indian system.
We have similarities. I think we have a lot of diversity in our country. Similarly, we also have a lot of diversity in their country. There were a lot of ethnic groups, there were a lot of ethnic nationalities like we have. So we have a similar situation as well. We have been briefed about at the central level at the Nehru Memorial Institute by a lot of senior officers. Similarly, we are also briefed in the Legislative Assembly of Karnataka, and so a lot of information is already has been gained. So right now we are here to understand that this state, which is bordering our state, yeah. So how is this state being governed? Because this state would have have also faced similar situations like Myanmar is facing right now. So the main actually reason for coming here is to learn how Mizoram state has been functioning and under democracy, under federalism, and the system that we follow, under which we have the governor as well as the chief minister in the state, and yet the functioning of the state. Yeah, so that clarification of the governor's, duties, his rights, his powers, also to compare with the chief minister's duties, rights, powers in a state which is bordering Myanmar.
Including the staff of the office of the governor, who appointed the staff of the office of the governor, and who appointed the staff of the chief minister.
Procedural things that goes into election or selection or appointment of the governor or election of the chief minister, including his staff also.
So we have a lot of clarity about the constitution of many countries, including Thailand and any other ASEAN country, as that. So the Indian constitution is the most thicket constitution. So we have already studied about our sharing system of the Indian constitution. So the union leagues, state leagues, and concurrent leagues, the government. The government has the direct power to the world. We have already studied. We have already learned about this.
So, Professor has explained a lot about the political system and whatever till now. He's very thankful he's very thankful for whatever you have made till now. And he would particularly like to understand what is being just and India being a developing country, actually a developing country, fast developing country, which has been able to control in some manner most of the insurgencies that were prevalent in the country. So that is why they would like to understand how the country has been functioning and how in particular the state has been functioning with respect to the government. So, for all the explanations that the professor has given, he is very, very much thankful. It is actually useful to us. It has been a great learning value. So, we are very thankful for that.
That's it.
Yeah,
Are you wanting to
I feel we can change the format of this discussion and make it a discussion kind of a thing.
Actually, I was about to come to those points that he highlighted about the autonomy of the state, fifth schedule, sixth schedule.
We can have
Okay. Stop here. I can stop here. Can I?
Thank you so much. Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, esteemed guests and dear friends. Let's start with the first question asked. In India, we have right now 28 states and 9 union territories. Like in Myanmar, you have got states, different areas, and you have those administered zones, administered division. In Myanmar, in India, we have 28 states, 9 union territories under the central government. Let's start with this. Now, they have become 28. On 5th of August, they have become 28. Let's start with this. Regarding this one, then I'll tell next question. Yeah. And regarding a state which is a unit in Indian Federation, suppose take Mizoram. The governor is appointed by the President of India. The governor is appointed by the President of India, and particularly there are two rules to be followed. The two rules, one rule is the governor must not belong to the state, and second, mostly they are from other parts of the country and they are not active politicians. Suppose this is somebody is coming here, there are two qualifications, tell them. President of India appointing, and two qualifications, not from this state, any other state, not active right now in active politics.
Governor को nomination to selection को governor को नंबर में मां क्या बात है क्या? स्टीरो दूर में कुछ बात है. governor को क्या को दूर में कुछ बात है. पर मां तो है governor का तू तावजारे पीने ये लगे पीनू ऐसे क्या मां जाती हाँ जाती बहुत है बहुत है आपसी आवे.
Second is not active in politics now. Okay, next to Chief Minister. Suppose Mizoram state has a legislative assembly consisting of 40 members representing 40 assembly constituencies. When election is held for the assembly in 5 years once, the leader of majority party is elected as the chief minister and invited by the governor to form the ministry.
Mizoram Mizoram legislative assembly 40 member parliamentary body, 40 goes legislative body. And Kuloma 40
member of assembly, they is called from constituencies 40, and then when they come here, the leader of majority party is invited by the governor to form the government. Yeah, dear friend, now let us make it a bit lighter. Tell them very clearly, that's an interesting thing. This state is a very important case study for the post of governor. Last so many months, Mizoram has governors for few days each. Right now, the governor of Assam is officiating as also the governor of Mizoram. Right now. Additional. Any question you ask, any question you ask. Any more questions? Any more question regarding dynamics of Indian federalism? Any more question? Yeah. Any more question you can? Yeah, please ask a question. Yeah.
This question was, did you mention that the government should not be subject of the state?
Yes.
So,
From any other state of the country. Yeah. Any other question? Any other question?
Any other question for what is the basic function, the normal duty of a governor?
Yes. Governor, number one, governor is a representative of the central government, or here you can call federal government. And he continues in office during the pleasure of the president. As long as the president wants, the governor can continue in office. He is the link between central government and the state government. Yes, any more question? Yeah, please.
Why should the governor not be a state subject or a person from that state?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, good question. Normally, the governor does not participate in the day-to-day politics of the state, but he is called head of state administration. The chief minister is called head of state government. Chief minister heads the ministry, but the governor is called head of the state. So, a person who is head of the state is in charge of maintaining constitutional propriety in the state on behalf of the central government and the president, should not play any role in active politics of the state. So, the governor is not one of the members of the state concerned.
Governor को बाकी लोग पीने का
Governor the chief minister is
Government. Yeah, any question?
constitutional propriety. The same domain. So, is there, the rubbing of stones that happens between both the government, because the chief minister has his secretariat, and the governor is actually looking at how they are doing things. So, is there, what should I say?
No, I follow you.
Conflict.
No, I follow you. I will tell you two words. Number one, emergency circumstance. In normal circumstance, there is no friction. All the bills passed for one person in politics. But in external situation, emergent situation, where the governor feels that constitutional working of the state government is not possible, without talking to the chief minister, he can send a report to, and 356, by using that article, the President of India can declare President's rule in a state which is actually a rule by the President, not directly.
Vice Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, I will, and distinguished delegates from the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, ladies and gentlemen, I will take very briefly.
Don't take any speech, no? They asked 2 questions. First you answer them. How Mizoram has got this state government?
Our moderator has stated that that will be given time in the end of the. Yeah. Today I will speak very briefly, and 2 things I want to speak. One is the inner line regulation, Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation of 1873, popularly known as inner line regulation. And another one is, of which you are familiar, I suppose, is General Regulations of 1896. As we are all aware, delegates from Myanmar, Myanmar is a land of ethnic nationality. So also is India. Now, like in Myanmar, you have Mon, the Shams, Karani, the Nazarin, Chin, Kachin, Karani, and so on. In India also we have numerous people. So now the point is,
and the second one I did not get.
Children's Regulation of 1896. Chin Hills. In the program. Yeah. Now, as we are all aware, Myanmar is also happened to be under British Burma. So also is India under British India. India got independence in 1947, Myanmar in 1948. And as we are, the most important stakeholders in the for Myanmar independence is like General Aung San and his UNU and others. Now, the point is, in India, concerted effort is being made to, govern or to bring different diverse people under one administration, under the Union of India. And in this regard, the government of independent India did not simply brush away the rules and regulation that was in place prior to independence. It is in this background that
Inner Line Regulation or the Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation of 1870 assumes significance. This Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation or Inner Line Regulation is a regulation enforced during the colonial period.
Vice Chancellor, high dignitaries, dear colleagues and students. Today, I'll deliver my lecture on Mizoram peace process. What I wish is that let me first finish my speech, and after that, even if there is any question, let it be raised after that. Okay. Yes, I will be talking on peace process. So without going to the past, the peace process cannot just come up. So there is a saying by Professor Shelley, history without political science has no fruit, no root, and political science without history has no fruit. That's why history and political science go hand in hand, and to know about the peace process, it is necessary to go a little bit to political history.
Peace process example should be our
Okay, so my friend and colleague Dr. Rubin has already mentioned that people from Chin Hills, Chin State, the present Chin State, and Mizoram, they are one and less the same people from the same ethnic stock. That's why first I would like to talk about these Chin people and Mizo people. Okay, these people who are known as Mizo in Mizoram, Chin in Burma.
On behalf of Mizoram University, I would like to welcome everyone again for the dinner, and at the same time we would like to hand over a small memento from Mizoram University to the delegates who have come from Myanmar. So may I request our Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor R.P. Variera, to kindly come forward.
Bodoji only Drago, let's Chichi let's sound the campaign by and pitch up about it now. Bodo so nine so nine Chichi let's sound the campaign by and pitch up about it now. Bodo time to think. Chichi let's sound the campaign by and pitch up about it now. like to have more of interaction of this kind in Boboji Kimaji. Boboji Aung Hinteng. Boboji Cho So U. Boboji Cho Limao. Du Boboji Tanso. You are the youngest member of the delegation. It's first time. Du Boboji Kizo. Boji Tezeng. Yeah, you made it meaningful for both of you. You and your friend. If you were not around, it would have become difficult for us. Thank you.
Sri Iqbal Ahmed, please. Your pronunciation was.
I worked hard on this.
It was very, very correct. I had the thought of introducing, but when he introduced, and I would have been 99% wrong in all those pronunciations.
Thank you.
You got the homework correct.
Sri R.K. Yamasu.
The homework I did correct.
Colonel Santosh Rawat,
Giving this
please.
responsibility to us and define. Sure. Thank you for changing the mood. Lecturing to discussion.
Sir, if you could kindly remain because they would like to reciprocate the gifts.
On behalf of the Myanmar delegation, I would now request Lieutenant General Aung Hinteng to please come up on the stage and give away the gift of appreciation and friendship gift to the organizing University of the Myanmar of Mizoram University to Pro Vice Chancellor Professor R.P. Vadera. Please, sir. Thank you very much.
Now, we would like to end this short program with the words of the State Councillor of Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi. Freedom and democracy are dreams you never give up. Dinner is ready. All are requested to have the dinner.
Oui, that's all.
Yeah,
Oui, let's all get ready. Oui, let's all get ready now.
Yeah.
Yes.